I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Like 1 minute to make but I want to be fair to you. What the basic, and maybe even in your own words.
Basically, what Hub Zone was all about is to bring jobs to places like the Eastern Shore. It's Bettis Group is who I'm representing this today, and what we did was we started a corporate office in the Eastern Shore to bring jobs and employ Eastern Shore residents. So while yes, based on the last census that was taken in 2010, they lost their home zone status on the Eastern Shore because the census population of income and things of that nature came from Virginia Beach. So we lost the hub zone, and we have established this corporate office there, trying to employ residents of the Eastern Shore and partner up and down the Eastern Shore to just train and educate those folks. And now we can't really do that anymore.
I have a quick answer for you, and here's what I share with others when they come in, and like right there, I'm thinking, well, that sounds really good. I have a bias in favor of Elizabeth. I refer to it as a bias in favor. John Thomas is here tonight, our legislative director, and what's happening right now, I'm sure the wheels are turning, and he is writing. I knew he would be. So he's going to get that bill, he's going to get it to me, and if you'll look at our website within 1 week, we'll give you a definitive answer on this and tell you if we can, and if I can't support it, I'll tell you why. And maybe we need to circle back around. But everything you shared with me, I mean, at least based on what I know, sounds good. So, but I owe it to everyone here tonight to read this and to understand it and to really know what I'm, what I'm supporting.
The facts.
Thank you. Yeah, there you go, the facts. Thanks so much. That's right. Okay.
All right, thank you. Congressman, from Jeannie Robinson, where do you come down on the transportation legislation passed in the Senate today?
Okay, let's just rewind the tape all the way back to when the president proposed an almost $1 trillion stimulus bill. I said at that time that I felt like the part that I could immediately support, because I always look, y'all send a businessman to Washington. My default position is, where do we agree? I'm always looking for, where do we agree? Let's kind of agree on this and set that aside, then we'll talk about the other items we may not agree on. The 13% of the stimulus bill was transportation directed, and I said, I can support that. Let's go, let's go. Transportation, whether it's our bridges or roads, and even rail as well, it's like a capital investment. In business, when you go to buy a large capital item, you don't say, well, gosh, if we buy this, we just won't make any money this year. Well, if you had that mindset, you wouldn't buy big things. You wouldn't buy buildings. You wouldn't buy large pieces of capital equipment. So I see transportation as an investment. Now, obviously there's some limitation today. You can't just go on and on. But clearly, to me, we need to move forward. I was ready to support the House version, and I go into this with a strong, strong, strong bias to vote for the transportation bill that will eventually, come through. Where are we on that, John? If I may, put you on the spot just a little bit. Now, will we get that exact bill, or will this be our bill, then we vote on ours and it goes to conference? Okay, this stuff moves very quickly. Sometimes, we were working on our own House bill, and that, would have gone through, and then the way it's supposed to work, and this is where, if y'all want to know, this is where our government is breaking down, and it's not good. Instead of the two houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate, coming together with their own individual bills and working things out through conference, that's where usually the committee chairmen kind of get together and work out the details and then bring it back to their respective houses for a final vote. That's where it's just shutting down. It's not really moving forward. So I'm delighted to see that this bill is moving forward. I have a bias. If you'll allow me to use that phrase again, because still I do reserve judgment to be able to understand what's in that Senate bill, to walk through it, and that's what Abby Gunderson, who's right there to John's right, and John, we will sit down, we'll go through the bill, the merits of the bill, and I guarantee you, it'll be like just about every other bill that I'm faced with. When I pull out this voting card, and here, Indy, I'll start it with you. You've entrusted me with this card, and it represents the as best I can tell, about the collective wisdom and will of about 800,000 people, plus or minus. And I do need that back eventually. But you can pass it around. Pass it around if you would. And I put that card in the slot, and I either press yes, green for yes, red for no, and then or yellow for present, which I don't press that. And then it lights up on the board. And but when I vote for this transportation bill, I guarantee you there's going to be things in that bill I don't like. There's going to be a lot of things in that bill I do like. Virtually every bill that we're presented with, you just kind of go, well, I don't like that. But, you know, I'm one of 435, but I am one of the 435, and I really think we're making a difference, so I don't want to give you that impression. But the short answer is, Barbara, if there is one, is that I go into it with a strong bias to support that bill. And I hope it goes through, and I hope I can support it and it passes, and the President signs it.
All right, Congressman, from Al Baker, will it be possible to reduce the number and size of various departments and agencies that make it increasingly difficult for small businesses as well as over-regulating every day? Thanks for your work to reduce the debt.
Thank you for the question. And as I just think back about my own experience, my own journey as a business person and job creation, and as I've listened to so many across the district, it is clear that the sum of all things, it's not just, you can't just point to one bill or one regulation and say, well, that's really what's holding us up. But if you look at the sum of all things, there's a bill out there called the Dodd-Frank bill. Now, just very quickly, this bill is over 800 pages long, and it is still unfolding, and reams, literally reams of regulations are coming from it, and they're really choking the life out of our local bankers' ability to provide capital, much needed capital for our entrepreneurs. And I'm not talking about the big shot banks in New York and all that. I'm talking about small, local banks, your neighbors, your friends, and people that maybe live around the corner. And it's Dodd-Frank. And it's this tax, well here, I have this right here is not my, this isn't War and Peace. This is our tax code. Gary, may I put you on the spot, sir? Just take any part of this and just start reading. Anywhere. I don't care. Doesn't matter. This is the United States tax code. That print is so small. Gary, you all right with that? You need some readers? Some cheaters? Start. Hold on a minute. Just start reading. Brace yourself.
Well, we're running out of time, Congressman. That may not be the effective use of time right now.
Just maybe one sentence or two. Barbara's in control. So I'm going to listen to her. Just very quickly.
Hard to know what chapter this is, but basic adjustments have gained from any sales not recognized by reason of subsection A. Such gain shall be applied and reduced in the order required in parentheses. The basis for determining gain or loss of any common stock.
Okay, what language is that?
Thank you. And it doesn't matter. I mean, this is on the shoulder of every entrepreneur. And, you know, we're Americans. We can do better than that. And the question was regulations. And I support, even a good friend of mine, one of my best friends that I made up there, his name is Rigell. And I think we hit it off because we sat next to each other. He's about the same age. He's never run for public office. He said, I'm just here to do the right thing, and I don't care what happens, and I'm just voting with my conscience. I said, Reed, I'm with you. And he's never held a public office. He's a roofer. And he's introduced a bill that basically says just a moratorium. Let's just take a little breather here on the regulations that are just, they always go one way, more and more and more. And I'm not a no regulation person. I hate to offend, I don't know if this is the definition to some of a libertarian. I've never said that I'm a libertarian. I have a libertarian streak in me, but I'm not a libertarian. I think that there is the proper place for maybe, you know, for environmental controls, I want great roads and great schools and great public schools, and so I'm fighting at every opportunity to stop the federal government from just growing and growing and growing.
All right, thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
We're running out of time, so I'm going to give you some statements from some folks to just enlighten you on some other issues regarding the hub zone. To let you know from J.R. Locke, hub zone status right here in Phoebus has been rezoned and areas have been decertified. North of Mallory and County have been decertified, while directly across the street is still hub zone certified. How can you help? No answer required. I know you're looking into that based on your earlier question. And now, as we are running out of time, it'll be up to you whether you want to go over. David Dines says, are you concerned about the new NDAA authorizing the U.S. military to arrest U.S. citizens in the United States?
Okay, that's an important question, and let me share with you this with respect to time. I'm so grateful for Barbara being here tonight. Would y'all just take a moment just to thank her? I enjoy having a conversation with the district. It's a great help to me to hear what I refer to as the wisdom of the district. So my preference is to go on for a bit more. But if you have babysitters at home or maybe a favorite TV show or anything else, I won't be offended if you need to leave. But for those of you who can stay, we can stay a bit longer. And Barbara, I understand if you needed to make a stage left exit, that's fine. And maybe Shannon, you could be news anchor for this. Shannon's our district director, and I think she organizes tonight. So Shannon, maybe you can fill in. But I think we can take a few more questions, and I'd appreciate that. JR's question relates to language that has been in effect ever since it was passed shortly after 9/11. And under the Bush administration, and basically what the Obama administration has done, President Obama has basically extended the policies that the Bush administration had with respect to how folks who really have bad intent toward the United States, even United States citizens themselves, how we handle folks who are taking actions against their own country. Let me make clear on this matter is that nothing changed in the law with respect to the right of a United States citizen who may be detained to go before a court and to make his or her case about their detention status. And let me just bring you into my world for just a moment, what I've experienced over the last 14 months of public service. I remember vividly the evening of what we call conference. That's where 240 Republicans get together. The Democrats have a caucus. Republicans call it a conference. And in a room not unlike this, right there before we were going to vote on the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, some members started to stand up and they go to there was a microphone here and a microphone there, and they'd line up and say, look, I've got real concerns about this language about the ability of the president to detain U.S. citizens. Now, this is a grave constitutional matter, so it has my full attention. And we walked through it, and good and reasonable people, men and women, would go to the microphone and make the case, no, 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 no. Nothing changes. See this language right here? It says nothing changes. It doesn't change any laws with respect to the right of a United States citizen to go before a court and challenge their detention status. Then other good folks who are really respected would get up to this microphone and they'd say, no, 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 that's not what it says. This is a serious matter and there's a serious constitutional issue here. Well, the hour was getting late, and finally Speaker Boehner walked up. And he walked right up to his microphone, kind of like where Barbara would be, and he said, well, I didn't see this coming. I didn't know there was going to be an issue on this. Tell you what, let's go ahead and get this thing through. There's a lot of good parts of this bill. I don't see that there's a problem with it. Basically, no rights have been infringed upon of a U.S. citizen. So I think we ought to move it forward and vote for it. Now, this is Speaker Boehner speaking, he said, now look, if we get clarifying language through the House Armed Services Committee and through the Judiciary Committee, I'll be sure that it comes to the House floor. Now that was the tipping point for me, because I thought, okay, I came to the conclusion that the language did protect United States citizens. I saw the sentence that said nothing in this bill shall have any effect, or, you can read it, we have it here with us tonight somewhere, John has it. That no rights have been affected or diminished in any way by this bill. So that was enough for me. Then we actually circled back around, and just last week I was in there working with Chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Buck McKeon, and I said, Mr. Chairman, look, I voted for this knowing that we were going to circle back around on this and clarify this language. And I was delighted to see that he's working with us, and we were really, John, I don't want to overstate the situation here, but we're probably 80% convinced that we're going to have a bill move forward with the chairman's support on this matter that restates, clarifies, and makes clear that the rights of United States citizens are protected. And I'm very pleased by that. Now that said, let me make this clear too. I don't care who you are or where you were born. If you pick up arms against the United States, and your intent is to harm as many Americans as you can, you associate either directly or indirectly with Taliban or its affiliates, that is a de facto resignation of your citizenship. This is the most serious matter. Those words do not just come out easily. I've worked through this matter. But if you take up arms against this country, that's it. Now that said, we must elevate and guard and honor the Constitution of the United States and protect the rights of our citizens. And we can do both. They're not mutually exclusive. It's getting more difficult. It's getting more difficult. The Patriot Act and all of those things, and surveillance, and because of the portability and lethality of weapons of mass destruction, these are very difficult questions that we're wrestling with. What comes through the port of Hampton roads and all those containers? It's really tough, but good folks are working on it, and I think we're striking the right balance.
All right, Congressman, next question coming from Maggie. In August, you voted to raise the debt ceiling, which increased spending and debt. It's also approved the sequestration, I believe she said, sequestration, which will deeply cut the military budget. The Treasury Department, as well as others, say we will need to raise the debt ceiling again as early as right before November's election. How will you vote?
I hope all of you can stay for this question. It's a very important one. I remember along the way, I got some advice from some folks who were really trying to help me. And they said, Scott, you talk about the debt all the time, and it's important and all this stuff, but, talk about this and this and this. And I said, all right, I will. All of it's important to me. But I have to share with you, as a person who's been reading financial statements for about 30 years, the trajectory that we're on